Covering the Orioles the only way we know how, as fans. Section 336, the next generation of Baltimore sports talk.
Today on the show, just when you think the Orioles can't play any worse, they play worse. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about, do they still have a chance at the division? Stop laughing. And we'll even talk about if they have a chance at least at the wild card. And we'll even get OsSunglassGuy on the line to talk a little fan attendance. All that and more.
Section 336.com. Buckle up, birds, be ready to ride. Your host, Matt Joshua Bird, are ready to fly. Baltimore's best, Section 336, the #1 sports broadcast. Get your fix. What's the news? Let's talk about Buck, our favorite Orioles. What's the latest lineup? Home runs and stolen bases. This is a trip. Stay tuned in at 336.
You were pausing a bunch.
I know. Do you know why I paused?
Why'd you pause?
Well,
catching up from the stuttering?
No, I was thinking about it because it's one of those moments where you should I say something here or should I let it go? I can't. Every time I say attendance, I get pissed off, and I wanted to make some kind of remark about it.
I'm guessing you're not going to make it through that conversation.
I may walk out at any point, and I was going to make some stupid comment about it, but then I decided not to. But the whole
conversation's stupid to begin with,
right? But I was debating. Well, we talked about it enough, and I think we are at opposite ends of the whole discussion, but I think we know how each other feels about it. And I was going to make a remark, and then I was debating whether to make that remark or not, and that's when you hit the button, and I said, forget about it. I'm just going to say all that and more, and you hit the button. So that's what happened.
All right. So we missed all that and more.
Yeah. We are Section 336.
All right, go ahead.
I am the endurance setter, Matt Soroka. As always, I'm joined by the button lover, Josh Soroka. The Zany Britt Rody's not in studio today, so it's just Josh and I kicking it, talking little Orioles.
Guess what?
What?
Our playoff tickets, we got them.
Nice.
Selected them yesterday.
Nice.
We got wild card tickets, 2 ALCS tickets,
really?
2 ALDS tickets, 2 World Series tickets.
Nice.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Can't
really?
wait. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right.
The Orioles had no problem taking my money.
Yeah.
Just wish they'd play on the field. I'm a little concerned if I'll ever get to use these tickets. It might have just been a big deposit for next year's season tickets.
What is I haven't looked at it recently. What is where do people go to see the projections? Is it Baseball Prospectus? Where do all the
ESPN does some? I just go to Google and I type in MLB playoff odds.
Yeah,
is what I do.
Because we were were we near 80%
a week ago? Yeah.
Or a couple weeks ago.
When we were just crushing the Nats?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so where are we now? What's our chances of actually making the wild card?
The postseason?
Or just making the postseason.
At this moment, Tuesday before the game starts, 36% according to MLB.com.
Oh wow, that's a lot higher than I thought it'd be.
It's
nice.
Still it's crap.
What? That's great. That's a high percentage. I'll take 36% at the end of August.
What's weird is the New York Yankees only have a 3.7, and you would think after the way they've been playing that they'd have a higher chance. And
and that's the series, and that series happened this weekend, and that's the series that really grinds my gears
because it should have been easy wins.
Well, people are going to talk all the time, and people are going to be freaking out this week when we have Toronto and we're going to lose. We'll probably get swept by Toronto,
but we're supposed to.
We might win one of them. But yeah, that's my point. Is I think Toronto's the best team in the American League. We're facing their 3 best pitchers against our 3 worst pitchers.
All right.
If you can get one, that's fine.
Wade Miley pitched through 7 innings yesterday, 3 runs.
Yeah, but my point
that's a winnable game.
Fine.
Don't blame me on bad pitching when Wade Miley gets you 7 innings.
No, I'll say Toronto has one of the best pitching staffs in baseball.
They do.
I'll call good pitching on Toronto's part. But my point is, when you're facing 3 of the best pitchers in the American League, we face the Blue Jays, against the Yankees, you were facing Sabathia and 2 little kids.
Right, guys we should beat up.
Yeah, guys we should beat up, but our pitching wasn't there. I mean, we gave up on Friday we gave up 14 runs. On Saturday we gave up 13 runs. Like that, to me, that's the bigger story here, and that's what really ticks me off. Not the fact that we're losing to Toronto now, because I kind of expected that. The fact that we couldn't beat the Yankees, I thought was a lot worse.
I kind of wish Burt was here. normally play this song for Bert to welcome someone back.
Oh yeah.
And you know who's back?
Who's back?
Thanks to that amazing pitching in New York.
Oh yeah. What do you think about the Tommy Hunter move?
Tommy Hunter?
Yeah.
I mean, I like the move.
Why?
Why? Because I feel like he did really well for the Orioles. Where he struggled for the Orioles was as a closer, and we don't need a closer.
Yeah.
What we need is a guy in the sixth inning, and I think we've strung out a lot of pitchers who are worse than Tommy Hunter.
Yeah.
I think if Tommy Hunter can go in there and just throw the ball hard like he does, then him for one inning, then leading into Brock O'Day, Britton, then I think that's a good move. I think it's a great move. I think it's better than the Wade Miley move. And plus,
Better than a Wade Miley move. Okay.
Plus, I mean, it's Tommy Hunter. Doesn't Tommy Hunter just bring a smile to your face?
Yeah, I mean, when you're looking, and I guess for nostalgic sake, I like Tommy Hunter. I don't know how good of a pitcher is. I think the fact that he's here after being cut from where was he? Cleveland.
But he got hurt.
Okay.
And then they didn't need him as he was
right.
He fell down the stairs.
Right.
All-Star break.
I didn't see.
Oh, you were away.
Yeah, I didn't.
He was carrying his son down the stairs, and he slipped and fell, and like held his kid up to protect his kid, and like nailed his back, and I think he might even broke or fractured a vertebrae or something.
Didn't that happen to a Ravens football player? I'm sure all these jokes have been made about.
I have not. No, actually, that's the first time. I don't even remember that guy's name. That fell down this. Yeah, he now works at a car dealership because there's no stairs.
Yeah, first round pick. What was his name?
I don't remember. I don't care.
Don't care either. But I think it says less about how good Tommy Hunter is and more about the state of the Orioles bullpen.
Yes.
Especially that middle role that you're talking about.
Yes, it does.
Mean, if you look at like Parker Bridwell has an ERA over 13. Odresic has an ERA of over 9.
Odresic makes no sense. We brought him from Japan. We were at the Nats game where he came out, and you were asking me, who is this guy?
I never even heard of the guy.
I'm trying to tell you he came from Japan. You don't believe me.
He didn't look Japanese to me.
That's really what happened.
He didn't look Japanese to me.
He couldn't make it in the majors.
Really
he went to Japan, and we said, oh, well, then you can come back here. It just makes no sense.
Oliver Drake has an ERA over 9. T.J. McFarland has an ERA over 6. Mike Wright has an ERA around 6. Tolliver has an ERA around 6. Despaigne has an ERA around 6. Dunsing has an ERA around 6. Tyler Wilson has an ERA.
Dunson hasn't shown up since like April. You bringing him in?
Well, that
guy hurt himself sitting.
Well,
he was sitting in the bullpen and hurt himself.
That's a dangerous game. The point is, like, we've called up guy after guy after guy after guy. And
there is no one.
All been terrible.
Yeah, and Duquette goes out there and says, "Don't listen to what ESPN and Keith Law say. We've got a good farm system. Just look at all the pitchers we've been able to bring up. Yeah. They all suck.
They all do suck." And I think the story that not many people are talking enough about, the reason you're bringing up all these guys, I think has a lot to do with the guy that when he went out and when he was hurt, we have a lot of depth there. We don't need to worry about him being hurt. And that's Darren O'Day.
Yeah, we need him back.
Because Darren O'Day threw it, because he was your 8th inning guy, which meant Brock could be your 7th inning guy, which means Michael Givens could be the mop-up 6th inning guy.
Exactly, and we've always talked about shortening the game and how valuable that is to us. And yeah, then that's what the key is we're trying to get through 9 innings with pitchers that can get to 5.
Yeah.
Then you want that middle relief to pitch 1 inning.
And then
not 6, 7.
And it puts us in awkward positions where Buck, I think maybe if O'Day was on the team, I think Buck in a 1-0 game
will put in Brock.
Baldo Jimenez is pitching down 1-0 to the Nationals. He'll put in Brock.
Yeah.
But when he's your only setup guy, you only put him when you're winning.
Right.
That's Buck's thing.
Because you got to protect the guys that are going to get you those wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The O'Day loss, I think, hurt a lot more than anyone thought it would.
I think it hurt more than losing Tillman right now.
Yeah. That.
Because again, that's affecting more games.
Yeah. Yeah, well, this is all bad timing. The Adam Jones is bad timing. The Chris Tillman, your best pitcher, is bad timing. One of your best hitters. So all of this is kind of bad timing right here at the end of the season when you have some huge series against the Blue Jays, and then this is AL East, and everyone in the AL East is playing well except for us. So it's gonna be a hard month. I mean, we're in the driver's seat, right? We still control our own destiny, at least as far as the wild card is concerned.
It's really easy to be negative right now. After some ugly games in New York, because we've been losing winnable games, but the truth is that it's a close division. We knew all along it was going to come down to the final week.
Yeah, and when you play all these 3-game series, if you get a sweep, and it's a completely different story.
Exactly. This AL East is still going to come down to whatever team can get the last 7-game winning streak.
Yeah.
I mean, and the problem is I can't remember the last time the Orioles got a 3. Well, outside of the Nats, the last time we won 3 in a row, I'm not sure.
And the problem is, if you look at the wild card. And yes, we hold the lead in the wild card. I mean, Boston's first, and we get the second spot. But Detroit has won 6 out of the last 10, playing a lot better.
And they're playing easier teams.
Astros.
We're going to beat each other up in this AL East.
Astros have won 8 of their last 10. Kansas City has won 8 of their last 10. So you have all the teams that are trailing us in the wild card playing really well. And Josh, you're right. They get to play the Twins.
Yeah. Was it Buster Olney this week that said that the AL East will just be cannibalizing itself?
Yeah.
Which is a great term because that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're taking the 3 best teams in the American League, and we're just going to get to beat each other up for a month.
Oh, and I would even argue that right now with the way that Tampa Bay is pitching, that Tampa Bay is a lot better than the White Sox, a lot better than the Twins, a lot better than the A's, a lot better than the Angels. And so
you got the Indians, and then it's pretty much the AL East teams. Yeah, I mean, Royals are hot right now, but overall they've got that stupid rally mantis.
Yeah.
So frustrating.
That's what makes baseball kind of cute. But it's also obnoxious. Kansas City. When it really matters, they play really well, and that's really annoying.
It's extremely annoying. And you know what? I wish we had a rally mantis.
Yeah, I'll take a rally anything right now.
We've got Orioles Magic, which has been dead since the All-Star break.
Do you know what I think is missing from this team? I was hearing, and I'm not going to take credit for this idea. I heard this on Mark Viviano today on 105.7 The Fan.
Oh, I didn't even know he was still in the air.
Well, no, he called into the Scott and Jeremy show.
All right.
But he said he was saying, I don't remember the context of this, but he was saying how in the past few years, when we've had winning seasons, going back to 2014, when guys went down, like when Chris Davis went down in 2014, Steve Pearce
stepped up,
had the season of his life.
Yeah.
Then more recently, when Matt Wieters went down, Caleb Joseph stepped up, and you almost didn't even miss a beat.
Right.
This year, you have Adam Jones going down. You have Tillman going down, and no one's stepping up. Reimold sucks, right? This is Reimold.
He did okay defensively yesterday. He made that play where he did not know the wall was anywhere near, ran straight into it.
He runs around and catches a fly ball, and we applaud him for doing that.
I applauded him because his arms stayed connected to his body. Yeah. When he runs into that wall, you don't know what's going to happen.
Okay, but I want to see someone like a Steve Pearce have a Steve Pearce like effort. I want to see someone step up, whether it's Ubaldo Jimenez. Maybe he picks up on but to pick the team up.
You're right.
We've got the Nolan Reimold, someone to pick the team up.
There are no unsung heroes this year.
No.
There's none.
No. All the borderline guys have been disappointing. The good players have been good, and the borderline players have been disappointing. The Caleb Josephs have been disappointing. The Nolan Reimolds have been disappointing. Right. The Ryan Flaherty's have been disappointing. So it's...
Yeah, you get nothing out of the bench, except for little flashes of Pedro.
Yeah, and Pedro's been fine. He's been, and that's a guy who...
Pedro's been Pedro.
Yeah, he's been what we thought he was. But again, he hasn't had... Trumbo's had a great year, but everyone knew he was good. Right. He's better than we thought he was.
He's better than we thought he was. You got to give the Orioles some credit for Trumbo. That was a great move. But...
Yeah, you give him credit for Trumbo, but you also give him credit for all the ones that don't work out. For Gallardo, for Reimold, for, I guess, Miley. Still to be determined, but Miley.
Right, for the fact that we could have just kept Pearce instead of this Reimold game.
You can applaud Dan Duquette all you want, and I think Dan Duquette's done a decent job. But this year there's been more failures than successes, I think.
I think you can give some successes as Bundy. And we're starting to see Bundy get you really excited for next year.
Nothing to do with Dan Duquette, right?
No. I just thought you meant as the team.
Oh, I was thinking more as far as
what
Dan
Duquette did.
Moves.
I don't know if you want to say him throwing out all the medical stuff and saying, let's just let him pitch.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess that's true. And we'll see how that is.
Someone made that decision.
Yeah, we're still, and as far as Miley and Pearce, there's still too many to be determined. Oh, so we'll see how this ends.
You know what's missing?
What's that?
You know who was poised to step up when Adam Jones goes down?
Joey Rickard.
Joey Rickard. And that Joey Rickard.
But that's what I'm talking about. That would be the Orioles team in the past.
It would be
like
Joey Rickard.
Someone stepping up, like
right.
a Joey Rickard.
Yep, and we've just had some bad luck this year with injuries.
Yeah,
I mean,
and no one's stepping up.
I mean, yeah, every team goes through injuries, and I get that, but it sure has seemed like the Orioles, the wrong players at the wrong time.
Yeah, or like when we called Caleb Joseph, he had a huge year, and we were wondering, is Caleb Joseph even better than Matt Wieters? Now I think we realize they're both bad. But who is that guy from the minors this year that, I mean, a few years ago it was Manny Machado, and that's kind of what started this whole thing. Who's that guy this year from the minors who's...
No one. Rickard had the chance. It was
at the beginning of the year, he looked a little bit like it.
He started out hot. He had the chance to be the guy. And you know who it is? It's Kim. It's Hyun-Soo Kim.
Fair enough.
The guy none of us seem to really care about.
Yeah.
Duquette pushed for that.
That's a good call.
That's
I buy Kim. Yeah.
I'll take Kim for that.
Yeah, but obviously it's not enough.
No. Now, does it give you hope? All right. This season, we still have a shot.
Absolutely.
I'm not worried. I think
you're not worried.
I'm not worried.
I'm
concerned. Can I be concerned and not be worried?
The Google machine said we have something like a 35% chance to make the playoffs.
Yeah. Do you remember what they said in January?
That's what. Yeah, they probably said negative 35%.
Exactly.
What would you put the Orioles' chances right now of making the playoffs in your mind?
Do we have to go there?
Do you think? No, I want to know. I mean, you have teams under us playing hot. You have the cannibalism of the AL East. What would you put as the Orioles' chances of making the how are you feeling right now with the Orioles? What are you at 50%? Are you at 5%? What percentage chance do you think they have making the playoffs?
We still play Detroit and Arizona.
I love that Arizona series at the end. I love that.
Only,
that's on
only
there.
because it's a home series.
It's a home series.
I wish it was 4 games instead of 2.
And they're terrible. Yeah. I love that.
That's great. So all right. So those teams and every other game in September is AL East.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go.
We got 30 games left. Yeah.
For right now.
Yeah.
As we're 4 games back from the AL East.
Right. The game on Tuesday evening has just started.
And we still got the second wild card as of right now. We're holding it by like a game.
One
right?
game lead on Detroit, I think. Yeah.
All right, and we're gonna face Detroit. So we'll get to push them around.
That's gonna be huge.
I'm gonna go with 60%.
Oh my.
Where are you at?
I'm probably at 25%.
Oh, you're even worse than the MLB projections.
Well, we are something like 7 games under 500 since the All-Star break. Like
I know.
We haven't. It's not that we've just been bad in August. We've been bad in August. We've been bad in July. We've been bad in June. Like we haven't been good.
We weren't bad in June.
We were over 500 in June.
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
July was our first time under 500.
Okay.
And because of that, I got to think that Tillman's going to come back. That O'Day's going to come back.
Yeah.
That Jones, that even Rickard's going to come back. That we're gonna expand our roster, and that's going to somehow help out our middle relief. That Tommy Hunter's going to help us out. I gotta think that this team is better than the ball they've been playing the past 4 or 5 days, and that we've got to bounce back. And we've seen both 7-game winning streaks and 4-game losing streaks.
Yeah, we've had a couple 7-game winning streaks.
Right.
Yeah.
So I gotta think that we're going to get another one of those 7-game winning streaks.
Oh,
and the fact that our final home series is 3 games against Arizona has to help.
Yep. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting. But I think either way, we're not gonna be out of it anytime soon. It's gonna be exciting baseball all the way down to the end of September.
We end the season with Arizona, 3 at Toronto, 3 at New York.
Yeah,
it's gonna be big games to play on the road.
Yeah, hopefully.
We got a really nice long homestand too. That's like an 11 game homestand. That's going to be a huge game to win as well. Stand to win.
Yeah, and for that huge 11 game homestand.
Oh, it's good teams.
Yeah, but the question is, Josh, as we transition to our interview, the question is, will anybody come to watch? Or maybe I should say, will anybody wearing orange come to watch?
All right. Well, while we get OsSunglassGuy on the phone.
Yeah, let's get him on.
Let me tell you about our new sponsor.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. I love new sponsors.
New sponsor. So
my only thing I like more than new sponsors are old sponsors. But go ahead with the new sponsor.
We got a new sponsor here.
Yeah.
and they're going to sponsor us for a few weeks. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. And the key is there's a free thing to sign up for with this sponsor. And by signing up, you go in a raffle for our listeners only to win a Crush Davis bobblehead.
Crush Davis with the Samson the dog.
Well, yeah. Why would you want it without the dog?
I don't know. Maybe you rip the dog off and just send. I just want to make it clear that it's Crush Davis and Samson.
All right, so you know how like a few years ago we got into daily fantasy, and that was like the big thing to pick what players would do good in the evening?
FanDuel, yeah.
Yeah. So this new app that's coming out in October, I believe, is the next level of that. Instead of choosing what players are going to do good, you play while watching the Ravens game. So you will say, on this play, are the Ravens going to pass or run?
This is for those gambling who you can't get enough gambling just to gamble.
Yeah, but it's free.
Yeah.
And you can win real prizes and all, but it's free.
That sounds like a pretty good deal.
But it's going to make those pathetic games that you don't want to sit through a reason to sit through, because it's pick Will Cundiff hit the Cundiff. Why'd I go with Cundiff?
Maybe Tucker would be a better option.
Will Tucker hit this field goal? Will the Ravens get 15 yards, or will we stop this guy at 4-1? So going over to our website, or I made it easy for you. Go to bit.ly/336game and sign on up, and you'll go into the raffle for the Crush bobblehead.
Sweet deal.
Right.
So you get to check out a cool free game, and you'll be eligible in the raffle. Sweet.
Yeah, all works. All right, you ready to talk to the Sunglass Guy?
Absolutely. Let's get him on the line.
You're leaving, aren't you?
I am. I'm out of here.
See ya. All right, so Matt just walked out of the studio because he is tired of speaking about attendance. But if you've been on the internet lately with social media and every Oriole blog, everyone is now talking about the Orioles attendance because it is down. It was 15,000 last night, 16,000 tonight. It's not what you expect from a team in the playoff hunt, especially when you see teams like Toronto and Kansas City just overflowing in their stadiums. So I reached out and got a guy who's at way more games than me who can tell us what the crowd's been like, give his opinion on what's going on. And it is John, who is better known as OsSunglassGuy, who John actually found my house, helped me sell my house, helped me buy another house because he's a realtor and has become a friend through that. But John, we see you obviously at every game behind the dugout. I saw you on the game 5 minutes ago as Britain was closing out the game. So let's talk a little bit about this attendance, and thank you for coming on Section 336.
No, thanks for having me. It's good to be back on.
So how do you feel? Let's start pretty general. How does the crowd feel to you when you're in the stadium this past few weeks?
It makes me sad. It really does. Like, look, I want to because you and I talked on Twitter earlier. I just want to preface this conversation before we kind of go in depth into it. That look, I get it. I understand. I don't really know if there's a set amount of games that an Orioles fan can say I go to X amount of games, and that not everyone can go to 81, not everyone can go to 50, not everyone can go to 20. I get it. I understand, but I don't think at the end of this conversation you and I are going to come up with a solution to the problem, but it is a problem. There's no way you can tell me that the stadium's going to draw 15,000 in a series that is, one of the I hate hyperbole, but it's one of the biggest series of the year. They're playing the Jays for first place. I mean, and there's 15,000. Yesterday there was 15,000, and I swear it had to have been close to 50% of were Jays fans. I don't know if they were all from Canada, but they were Jays fans nonetheless. So,
right. Either way, they're rooting for the blue team. Now, I think I have an answer, but we'll get to that later. Now, we've heard lots of excuses from the fact that families are scared to take kids into Baltimore because of the riots last year, to the weather's been bad. And yes, it's been hot, but I feel like it's hot every summer. What do you think is the problem? If you had to guess, why is attendance down so low?
I mean, when I put it out, when I sort of last night on Twitter, I said, I see a lot of differing opinions about the attendance issue. There's no way I could put it into 140 characters.
Sure.
A lot of people responded. The biggest things that I got from the people are school night. It's hot. They don't have enough pitching. And then a lot of people started bringing up their post All-Star break stats, which was very weird to me because it was like, well, that's kind of being the definition of a fair weather bandwagon fan, which is what everybody accuses the Jays of being. But I'll sort of take that back later. Honestly, I think that it's kind of it's so weird. Like the economics of it's not even so much the economics, the time that a person needs to spend. I mean, it's going to probably, I went to the game last night. I went to the game tonight. I left my house at 6:00, got to the stadium at 6:30, walked to the stadium, left, got home at about 10. So that's a 4-hour commitment. Today is going to probably be a 4.5-hour commitment. So like on a 6-game series, if you go to every single game and the games are roughly like 2.5 to 2:45 and you live a half hour away, that's like a day of your life that's gone. That's just with the games. So like, and I get it, and I get that people don't have time for that, but like, I don't understand how. I mean, I know that everyone's watching on TV. I read an article in the Washington Post. It was either today or yesterday that like the Orioles have like the 4th highest ratings in all American baseball, not counting the Jays because it's all Canada
for television.
Yeah, so
yes.
I know people are watching, but like that's where I'm torn because like I get it. I get that it's an economic commitment. I get that it's a time commitment, but like you can't tell me that it doesn't bum out the team. Like it bums out the team that like like that. Like Adam Jones has talked about this numerous times that like the team feeds off the energy, and when they go out there and they're playing their hearts out, and there's 15,000 people there, like that bums them out. I'm not saying that that's the direct proponent to them losing lately, but I mean, it doesn't help.
All right, sure. But what if so here, I've been thinking about this a lot, and I believe that the Orioles did this to themselves. Not the players on the field, that the front office is what screwed this up. The front office is why attendance is so low. So let me present this to you. For one, the Orioles have done a few things where you're a season ticket holder, I'm a season ticket holder. First off, since they went to the playoffs, they have slowly and quietly removed Pearce from being season ticket holders. And they have kind of stepped back and acted like they don't need season ticket holders anymore. Have you noticed that, or is that just me?
No, I notice it, and I know that the front office has done things to heave off the everyday fan.
Right.
I guess, and
sure.
like I hear that, I guess.
I mean that's
again. I don't want to stand on the soapbox, but I love going so much that I mean, I'll tell you a quick story if we can kind of detour, but kind of about the same thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like tonight alone, I noticed something that like I've kind of noticed before, but it really clicked in today. And one of the reasons is that I think a lot of people also don't go is that the stadium experience itself is not as awesome as it used to be. And I say that because I swear tonight, this was the Ubaldo game, and we were trying to get up, and there was some good energy there, but there was a lot of times, like the 3rd, 4th, 5th inning, where, I was told to sit down, because, people were complaining. People, Orioles fans were complaining that, I was standing and cheering. And I get that a lot. I hear that a lot.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, so, it's actually stuff like that kind of deters me from wanting to go. It's just that, they kind of make the stadium experience not fun.
Yeah, and I can see that, I went to the Nationals game last week, Orioles Nationals, and the Nationals try really, really hard to get the fans into the game. They do it a little more than I prefer, but that's because I'm just a lifelong baseball fan. But I understand what they're doing for the average fan to try to get the average fan into the baseball game. Now, So my first issue was that they have not treated season ticket holders that well. And little things like when they had the 50th anniversary book last year, they made a policy that you get one per package. As in my package is 4 seats because we all want to sit together, so we all put our money together and buy one package, which is a crazy thing. If you're buying 4 seats, you should get 4 books. And it's little things like that. And they removed where you used to, if you were a season ticket holder, be able to go down to the club level anytime you wanted. They removed that quietly this year. And little things, as they call their orange carpet benefits, they've removed. So that's been my frustration as a season ticket holder. But I think they've done things to deter the average non-season ticket holder even more. And I want to start with first, this year they changed all giveaways to weekends. And sure, you can joke that why do I need a giveaway to go to a baseball game? But if you look, when they did the giveaways, you had large crowds. So if you want to be the Orioles organization and tell me that you want large crowds, do a giveaway. I don't need a giveaway to go to a baseball game, but it helps a lot of people.
Well, yeah, I never really understood the economics of that. Was the giveaway that people come to get, and most people are trying to sell them on eBay for like $60.
But those people,
and to pay for their ticket that they bought to get in, so it's kind of a wash anyway. And they probably bought beer and stuff too. Like it's just kind of like that's weird. But again, I agree with you. I think that I think that they need to do, because clearly just putting a good team on the field, well, a good beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but I mean they have the most wins in the American League in the last 5 years, but so putting a good team on the field isn't clearly enough, I guess.
Okay.
Because there's 81 games, and because the huge time commitment, and because if you go to 3-4 games in a series, that is a huge financial commitment, especially if you're bringing a family with you.
Right.
So I'm all for that. I feel today though, as of today, I feel like people are, they're not going. It's kind of like a form, by them not going, it's kind of like them saying, haha, you're not going to get my dollars. And, that's, that's great. I mean, if that's the way that they can protest, that's awesome. You definitely have the right to do that. I feel like it's hurting more than it's helping, because again, I feel like Angelos doesn't care because he makes the majority of his money through Masson. So, if 15,000 people show up versus 30,000, he's not gonna, obviously it's gonna be less money he's gonna get, but it's not really much for him versus the effect that it probably has mentally on the team. I had a theory that's what if this really gets to Manny Machado, right? And when his contract's due up, and both, there's 2 contracts on the table. One's 10 years, $500 million from the Orioles, and the other is 10 years, $500 million from the Yankees or the Red Sox. Is he going to stay with the team? Because he says all the right things. He says he loves it, but maybe it gets to him. Maybe it bothers him that there's not that on an important Blue Jay series, there's 15,000 people and 6,000 of them are Jays fans.
Yeah, no, everyone wants to play for a full house, but you've got to. As if I owned a business and people weren't coming to my business, I'd have to find ways to attract people to that business. And going out there and complaining that people aren't coming to the business doesn't help. So as a business, you need to find ways to attract people. And a few years ago, the Orioles introduced dynamic pricing. And when we were all concerned about dynamic pricing because it looked like a way just to gouge the price up, they came out and said, no, this is great for the fan. It allows us to lower the price on certain games to make it a better deal to come to the stadium. Now, what I don't understand about dynamic pricing is I haven't seen any games this year be lowered in price. And you would think that with a game like this series where on Sunday they know they only have 10,000 tickets sold for Monday night, why aren't you slashing that price, putting some tickets on, putting the nosebleeds on sale for $5, putting it out on social media and on the radio, and get all that walk-up business and get people to the stadium.
Well, I mean, I'm definitely not going to fight you on that because, I agree. I think that, I feel like their marketing department has kind of failed them a little bit. I feel like there's not really, or maybe it isn't. I don't know. I still just can't really tell because, there is a buzz about the team. There is a buzz in the atmosphere about the team. It's just that they just don't come because either because the tickets are pricey or it's a school night or, all that stuff, which the school night thing, if the Orioles play in the ALDS, they're going to play on a Tuesday and a Wednesday, I believe is what the schedule says. So,
yeah, but
I'll bet you dollars to donuts there's going to be 44K there, both of those games.
Yes,
so.
They will be, but that's a silly argument to compare one game to an ALDS game where you don't.
No, I know.
I know. But when you take I got a family of 5. It cost me over $100 just for the tickets to get on the door, knowing my kids are then going to want cotton candy and ice cream plus dinner. It's cost me a lot of money, and in driving distance, I can go see Delmarva Shorebirds, the Bowie Bay Sox, Aberdeen Ironbirds, Frederick Keys, all around an hour at most from my home for a quarter of the price. It's the Orioles need to do something, and dynamic pricing was supposed to be the key to help with this. The Nationals right now, when I went there, they're running a special for the month of September. $75 gets you in the door for every game in September. It's standing room only, but I would pay that $75 to the Orioles immediately.
Okay, that's a good idea. That's why I wanted to start the conversation by saying I don't want to I don't want to because I think you said this earlier. You on Twitter we were talking. You said that one of the biggest things that bugged you was that people that that are with the press that get paid to go and get in for free are telling people how to spend their money and that's not right. And I 100% agree with that. I just that's why it's a weird thing because I don't I hear it. I see the 15,000 and people make statements and then people say, well, I've been to 20 games this year, and it's you're right. You're that's a lot of games, a lot of baseball games to go to. It's I don't really know. I don't know what I agree with you. I think that's the best way to sort of just make it more, financially beneficial for the masses to come. That's what they can do. Great. If there's a petition, I'll sign it. If that is what the heart of it, if that's really what it is, people are fed up with, the way that they handle things, like little small things like that to the season ticket holders and to the ticket going public. I'll sign. I'll be at the forefront of anything for that. I don't know. I just kind of wanted to, because I wanted to vent on Twitter, and I just didn't feel like typing it all out because as you can all tell, I ramble a lot. So
exactly, and that's where I'm at too. I'm right there with you. That I would love the stadium to be full. Games are a lot more fun as a fan to go to if the stadium's full. They're funner to watch on TV if the stadium's full. We all want a full stadium. My frustration is that as much as I want that I'm not gonna tell a fan how to spend their money, how to spend their evening, and I don't think when you've got the press that are so ingrained with the Orioles that they're close to being employees, complaining about the fans not showing up and writing articles about how the fans need to support this team. Well, maybe the team and the front office needs to do a little bit to help out the city.
I 100%. I'm 100% with you.
It's not always about just winning.
I 100% am with you. And again, I'm the last person that wants to tell somebody what to do with their money and their time, because all that stuff is very, very, very valuable. But again, and this is where I'm torn at the same time, tonight would have been so much better if that place was not even full, 30,000 or 25 or, whatever.
Sure.
and maybe that's me. Maybe that's me being selfish. You just said that we all want it, so I don't know. I hope that they can figure it out. I hope they really kind of take this off season and really think about just anything they can do to get more fans in the seats, because clearly just paying Chris Davis a lot of money and then raising the ticket prices to match that wasn't. I can only imagine what's going to happen when they have to pay Manny, if that's kind of their MO to do that. Because it's just because the atmosphere is not like, if you remember in 2014 when that when the cameras when the cameras were rolling and we were all waving our orange towels, like. That was a magical moment. And even the time leading up to the clinching of that division, like, I felt like there was a lot more, like, I'd have to go back and look at the numbers, but I really do feel like it's less, like the stadium is less full in the time now than it was in 2014.
Yeah, and I think that's, yes, I agree. And that's where the Orioles sucking in New York this weekend really put a damper on the walk-up sales on Monday and Tuesday night. Hopefully a win today is going to draw more people out for Wednesday night. I'll be heading up to the stadium tomorrow for that game. But yeah, I hope more fans come, but I also want to see the Orioles front office do something to attract the fans and to not just complain, but let's come up with answers and let's fix this, because it's not just let's make it to the playoffs so that we can force people to buy season tickets in order to go to the important playoff games.
Fair enough. Well, yeah, maybe that's another reason too, because they didn't go to the playoffs last year, so they probably lost a lot of their group ticket or their season ticket sales for the 2016 season.
And I'm sure you're like me that you already ordered your playoff tickets for this year.
Yep. Yeah, they're getting everyone. Yep, those invoices already went out.
Yep.
So, but hey, you know what? If Ubaldo pitches like this,
had two great starts on Ubaldo. Earlier in the game, earlier in the show, Matt and I were talking, and right now, MLB.com, before tonight's game, listed the Orioles as 35% chance of making the postseason. Where do you see the Orioles now that you're high on walking out of that win tonight? Where do you see the Orioles as far as percentage of making the postseason?
Man, 50 coin flip. Tomorrow. I'll really be interested to kind of see like how Ubaldo continues to pitch. Now, because like people forget, people were so down on Monday, but Miley pitched an okay game for Wade Miley standards against the one of the best lineups in baseball. Miley pitched
same.
well and Ubaldo pitched well.
Yeah.
If Gallardo goes out there, he's had good starts. This team is, and Gosman and Bunny, like this team is. They're frustratingly inconsistent, and it's really bothersome. But when they're clicking on all cylinders, man, they are humming, and it's really fun to see. Like, this was probably tonight was one of the best games of the season, I think, just because of the situation. Like, their backs were against the wall.
Yeah, they came back twice.
Yeah, like they were down 3-1. They lose. They're down. They're down in the East by 5 games. I don't know what's going on in the other wild card teams, but I saw a couple of them were winning, so like they could have been tied with the Tigers by the end of the night for all I know. But I think it's going to really come down to where are we after the Detroit road series. Where are we in the pecking order after that series? Like if we lose tomorrow. And then maybe take 2 or 3 from the Yankees, take 2 or 3 from the Rays on the road, but then we go to like Detroit and get swept. That's going to be kind of tough to come back from. Because we're still playing a bunch of Boston, New York, Toronto, and we get some more Tampa and Arizona. But so it's 50-50 coin flip. But again, if Ubaldo's going to pitch like this, and Miley's going to give us 6 innings and 3 earned runs. And Gallardo does something similar. He doesn't, give up 7 in, 2 innings. I just really don't see why we can't not only the wild card, but the division is still in play. Yeah, it really is. 3 back is not a death sentence with 5 to play against Toronto, and also they both they play Boston a bunch and, New York, and like they all play each other, and, so.
Yeah. Two starts, 2 7-inning, 3-run starts back to back is great and should be wins for this team. Unfortunately, it wasn't yesterday. But it is. I still feel like this division is going to come down to whatever team gets hot and gets a nice 6-7 game winning streak rolling. And it could be the Orioles. They've done it a few times already.
That's right, and they got most likely it will come down to that last, like you said, like the last stretch of the season, but most definitely probably that last 3 games in Toronto, and sadly probably those last 3 games in New York. It'll come all down to that. I mean, Boston plays Toronto in that last series of the season as well. So
the best part about that week is that we started off with 3-game series against Arizona, and they're no good, and they're coming to Baltimore when they won't care.
Yep. Although I remember though.
Yeah, we've been there. We've been spoilers.
No, I remember in, what was it, 2013 when we got swept in Arizona, and that was the beginning of the end.
Yeah, but they're coming to Baltimore. We don't have to go out west.
I know. Well, hopefully, again, I'll close with this: is that again, I really hope that this, because if it looked on TV like it did live, I really feel like this win was different than just like when Gossman pitched well against the Yankees on Sunday. Like, people were very happy about that, but I feel like this win was different, and I know, and that may be just being overly positive. I don't know, but like I really do feel like it turned something, and I really, really hope that, like you said earlier about affecting the previous outcome, affecting the walk-up gate. I really hope that there's a good turnout tomorrow.
Yeah.
What's that?
I just said I hope so. And I really hope that there's a good turnout because this team feeds off the energy. We've all seen it. We all know it. They feed off of our yelling, our screaming, our energy. And I know that when 8,000 Blue Jays fans are screaming, "Let's go Jays," and Red Sox fans are going, "Let's go Red Sox." I mean, they're professionals, but that gets to them. And I feel like it kind of shows in their play just a little bit. Yeah, Max Scherzer last week after the Nats game was complaining about the Oriole fans cheering. And if we could do that in Nats Park, surely we can do that in our own park.
Yeah, that's the biggest anomaly. I don't understand. How can we take over Nats Stadium, but we can't take over our own stadium? It drives me insane. And that was a weekday. That was a school night, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a Thursday. It was a Thursday night. It was before school started, but it was a Thursday night. It was one of those special things of visiting a different ballpark. So there's definitely reasons for that. And if you go to the other park, 5,000 looks a lot bigger than it does in your own stadium.
Fair enough. I can see that.
I mean, that'd be the same as saying Blue Jay fans took over Camden Yards yesterday.
Wow, that sounds good to me, man.
Yep.
Well, hopefully we can pull this out, because it's definitely it's gonna be stressful, but it's gonna be a fun September. And for everyone that doubted the O's, I said on Twitter, if you made plans in October, cancel them.
Yeah, I saw it. All right, John.
Well, at least the first 3 days of October when they play the Yankees. So
right. Hopefully a lot more. But all right, John. Thanks for joining us again. It's been a while since we got you on here. And everyone should go follow you on Twitter at OsSunglassGuy. And I'm sure they see you on TV behind the dugout for each game. So have a good night.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Josh. Thanks for having me.
All right. So Matt really left. I mean, I know it sounds like a joke, but Matt is really tired of this attendance argument. So when John's a friend of the show wanted to come on, we wanted to have him. I wanted to do a little venting, as John put it, about the attendance, and Matt wanted nothing to do with it, so he literally got up and left and went home. So thanks for listening to Section 336 today. Nice to do it after the Orioles win a game. It's way better that way. And go on over to section336.com, head on over to Utah Street Report, head on over to Russell Street Report. Today's one of those special days where we put out a separate Ravens episode with Mr. Film Study giving us a little preview of the Ravens season. And we put out this Oriole episode. So I'll see you at the stadium tomorrow. And as Matt would say, go Orioles.
Section 336 is a affiliate of 24/7 Networks. Find Section 336 on UtahStreetReport.com.